Hi, it's Anitra. Wanted to update how things are going for me. Last time I made a video, my platelets had gone up by about 10,000. They were 56,000 or so. And prior to that, they were in the 40s. So they went up about 10,000. And I was attributing that to not taking the supplements as much as I had been. Also, taking the ancestral supplements, bovine products that I was taking, the blood vitality. I'm still taking them, but I ran out of the blood vitality. Most of those things are like $60 a bottle, so they're pretty expensive. They last about a month. So what else do I have? The blood. Oh, and then the beef organ. I don't really think that I could affect my platelets that quickly. I've been dealing with this platelet issue for about 2 years. In the beginning, I tried papaya leaf extract, which is a bottle that's about this big, and it's like $80 on Amazon for a bottle of that stuff. It's basically tastes like this syrup. It's papaya leaf. There's a bunch of stuff like that, including wheatgrass, and I tried that stuff and it did seem like it might have affected my platelets in the beginning, but then quickly it didn't seem like it made much of a difference. So my suspicion for myself is that aside from any of the like conventional interventions like the IVIG or any of the drugs that they give like Promacta and stuff like that, I don't really think you can affect the platelets that quickly. I don't think you could do anything naturally that would take effect in a week. That's just my experience. I had one friend, her mom was dealing with a platelet issue, and she said she made an oatmeal cherry shake with a couple other things, and her platelets like magically went up. And you know, it's hard to hear those stories, because I know if you're like me and you've suffered from having ITP and you've tried a whole bunch of things, and you hear people, it seems like they just try some magic formula on a fluke and it works. So I don't know, that's, you know, not everybody's that lucky, and I definitely have not been that lucky. Anyway, my platelets, so they went from the 40s to the 50s. I was so excited that they went up, and then a week later they went down to 13,000. And anything under 20 is considered an emergency situation, essentially. They want you to go into the ER, and oftentimes they'll give you steroids, or sometimes they'll give you IVIG. Like, it's considered you're really high risk if it goes under 20. So I was at 13. I was with the doctor, and we scheduled me for a 2-day infusion of the IVIG. There's different ways you can take it. You can take it over the course of 2 days. You can take it over the course of 5 days. I also learned that you can take it subcutaneously. So some people can give themselves a subcutaneous injection every day. My mom just told me, because she also takes IVIG for a different reason, she does a monthly transfusion. She said there's also a weekly injection that you can do. So it sounds like there's a lot of different options. I've only done the 2-day and the 5-day. I've had needles in me so many times over the last 3 years, but giving myself a shot seems pretty hard. I'm a wimp when it comes to that. So I'd do it if I had to, but if I don't have to do it, I don't want to do it. But I ended up doing like the first dose on a Tuesday and the second dose on a Friday, just because that's the way my schedule worked out. And the nurse thought that was actually a good idea. She's like, wow, you know, it gives your body a chance to like assimilate that, gives you a little break, and then you give yourself another boost. And so I kind of like coming up with doing it that way. But my platelets checked after doing the IVIG, I think about 2 weeks later, and my platelets were 325,000, which is awesome. I definitely feel that big boost of energy like I felt last time I did the IVIG, but I also feel a little bit more like ragged and run down. And it turned out that my white blood count was really low, like 2.9, and I think the range of normal is something like 4.5 to 6, something like that. And so 2.9, I looked back in all my labs. I don't think I ever had my white blood count be that low. It got really low when I first started chemo. So this is like, you know, it's 2021 now, and I did chemo in 2018, June to October of 2018. So it's been, you know, 18, 19, 20, 2.5 years since chemo, and my white blood count hasn't been that low. I asked the oncologist, who's also my hematologist, about that, and he said, how about we don't worry about that right now? I think it's okay. But I feel more tired. I feel more depleted. Yet my platelets are high. So I asked him if the IVIG could be contributing to the lower white blood count, and he said no. And it hasn't happened before, so I'm assuming I'm just dealing with some sort of like other type of virus or infection. We decided that I am going to get the IVIG with some sort of regularity, and we'll just sort of like fine tune what that looks like. Based on when I have my next blood draw. It was just 325,000. And so then 2 weeks from then, I'll be checking it again and we'll see what it is. He thinks that I can decrease the amount of IVIG they gave me and maybe only do get that transfusion once a month. So it's hopeful for me that something's working and I don't have to have my spleen removed. I feel good about that. I wonder about, getting a blood product, and I thought it was hundreds of people's blood have to be donated to collect or whatever it is, to have a dosing for IVIG, but it's actually thousands of people's blood. Can you imagine that? I mean, these bottles are like this. I don't know how much is in there. I guess it's in liters. It's liquid. It's not even liquid, but it's so weird. It's this really sticky stuff. That's what they tell me anyway. It takes thousands of people to donate blood for me and for whoever else gets IVIG to have one infusion of IVIG. That's pretty outrageous to me. It's a lot of people. And then the other thing is that I've had this person that I've known on Facebook for a lot of years, maybe close to 10 even. And he is a hypnotherapist. And when I first got diagnosed with cancer, I was trying all the physiological stuff. I was, altering my lifestyle and doing all the things that they say to do and not eating this and eating that and just trying to make sure I did everything I could physiologically. And then I hadn't really dealt with the emotional piece of it. So now I guess it's been 3 years ago, I decided to do EMDR, a type of therapy. That was great. Well, with the spleen issue, he had offered to help me look at why this platelet issue is arising. Looking at it more from an intuition standpoint, like he asked me a lot of questions and we had a session. Was that just yesterday? I guess it was yesterday. And he asked me a bunch of questions and he also took me through some hypnosis, and this was on Zoom, which was pretty wild. I've never done hypnosis. I think the basic idea is that the subconscious has a lot of information, and if we can access the subconscious mind, it can use the intelligence and our body's wisdom to figure out why things are happening in our lives or anything really, I assume. So it was very interesting. I became more relaxed than I think I've ever been in my entire life. Like, he talked me through this relaxation and said that he was going to be saying things that made sense and didn't make sense, and it didn't really matter because he was speaking to my subconscious mind. My tongue, my eyes, my face, I was like, I was just completely and utterly relaxed in a way that one of the messages I feel like my own subconscious gave me was to let go, was like, I just became aware of how much I hold on, how much tension I have, how much just whatever it is, just like holding on, tenseness and tenseness, is that the word? Tensity. Tension. Oh my gosh, tension. My brain, it's chemo brain. It's not even chemo brain, it's like anesthesia brain. So my brain is not the same as it used to be. Tension, that's the word. So like recognizing how much tension I had, it really kind of mind-blowing. And then he asked me some questions and took me to a time in my childhood. Can't even remember what question got me there, but I remembered pretty vividly this experience in my childhood. And it's not so much that the experience really has anything to do with my spleen, but there were some things he was asking me where I felt joyful, I felt innocent, I felt curious, and he was looking for some of those words because I guess there's something about getting into the subconscious mind that and healing. And anyway, what I came up with through him taking me through all that was, I actually wrote it down. I have to find it because it was really cool. it was curiosity arising from innocence. And I had realized that, well, he said, that therein lies a major key to your healing. And I felt this, like, I really felt like childlike and innocent, and felt this curiosity. And that the description of the scene from my childhood, I was about 5 years old. It really was. It was really full of all this innocence and joy and curiosity. And so we're going to do some more sessions, but all that to say that I have found it to be curious that I have a problem with my blood. And also my mom takes IVIG, but she takes it to prevent pneumonia. So it's really, it's an immune system issue, but it's not what I'm dealing with. And I still think that part of why I got the platelet issue really came from drug-induced thrombocytopenia when I got the infection from going through breast reconstruction and being vulnerable and so beat up from the chemo. And it was just this series of things, just being, like having tons of antibiotics pumped into my body. Just this whole thing is why I think my body completely, I turned on myself. My body turned on itself, and my own immune system is attacking my own organism. That's what happened. So with the link with the blood, like intuitively, I just felt, gosh, there's got to be some connection. Blood, what is blood? Blood is our family. We talk about that, our blood is the same as where we come from in our family. So I really felt like a lot of the healing that needs to happen inside my own family structure. I've been working with that, and I've been like looking at the places where I could heal with my family, heal with my mother, heal with my father, heal with my daughter. I don't really feel like I quite have that yet. She's young still, but I think that we inherit some of the like unhealthy and unconscious habits through our lineage. Things get passed down. So I'm just trying to become aware of that, and I'm trying to heal that as best as I can. And I also think just having like a good emotional well-being, I think that that's so undervalued inside the medical system. People are dealing with whatever it is. I don't even know all the things people deal with: asthma and arthritis and multiple sclerosis and cancer and all these things. And it just astounds me that there's so little interest in the emotional and mental well-being of somebody. That to me seems crucial for the state of health a person is in. The physical manifestation is it's a much more dense manifestation than the emotional and mental manifestation. Those are much more subtle energies. And yeah, I just feel like until we really can become more stable and more grounded mentally and emotionally, that to me is way more a source of what our ailments are. Like the physical is very important, but the emotional and mental are even more important. So I'm looking at that for myself. And I encourage that for anybody who's dealing with something physical, is just really like look at your own emotional and mental well-being and see how you're doing there. So that's part of what I'm doing at the hypnotherapy. We're going to keep doing that every week. And God, if nothing else, just literally relaxing my body to where I felt like I was made of lead. I felt like a 200-pound lead vest or something. It was just so amazing to let go of everything. In yoga, there's something called yoga nidra, where that's like yogic sleep. Nidra is sleep, and it's like that, where you just like you tense your whole body. You go through this whole series and you tense your whole body and you let go, and because of that tension and that relaxation, it allows for like a deeper letting go. But this was way better. I don't think I could have done that for myself. I don't think I could have relaxed my actual physical body to the degree I did without somebody walking me through it. I feel pretty I feel inspired. I actually had a Zoom later in the day, and a friend was like, wow, you look great. And it was so funny. I mean, I just felt so light, and I felt like I felt really light, and I felt like, I don't know, there was more of this like curiosity that I had discovered from my subconscious through this hypnosis. And I felt like I was much more present with that innocence and that curiosity. So that's what I'm trying to, I don't know if I'm trying to bring that forth. It's more like I'm just aware of that. That's what that um, hypnotherapy session made me aware of. So we'll see what comes up with that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to exploring more and healing from the inside. You know, I feel like I've tried so much to heal from with supplements and all the other things, and it's like I'm now just trying to heal in other ways. So